Greetings, fellow Democrats. I'm sorry we can't be together at this year's convention, but I can't wait to see all of you in person very soon. My friends, the last year has been one of the most difficult our state has experienced since perhaps the Great Depression. And as we turn the page from this pandemic and work to emerge healthier, safer, and stronger, it is clear that we need a change from the failed leadership that got us here in the first place. You see, the difference between us and politicians like Henry McMaster, Lindsey Graham, and Donald Trump is that they think this is some sort of game. It's no different than college football. It's all about scoring points and beating the other side. But this isn't a game. This is about real people, our kids, our future, our democracy. These things are worth fighting for. And to preserve them, we have to win in 2022. There are no other options. I'm running for governor because I believe I'm the best person to beat Henry McMaster and get our state on track. I know we can win because I've won tough races before. In 2018, when I ran for Congress in a district that Donald Trump had just won by 13 points, people told me I was crazy for even thinking about running, that I had no chance. Mark Sanford had just won the seat by 22 points. Even on election day, experts gave us a 9% chance of winning. But we ran a different campaign than anyone in the 1st District had ever seen. We turned out the base. We got historic crossover support. And we won independents 4-1. And we did the impossible. The Post and Courier called it the biggest upset in modern South Carolina history. It was even considered the biggest upset in the country. And in 2020, although we came up just short, we outperformed Joe Biden by 5 points. Donald Trump won our district by 6 points, and we lost it by just 1. We had about 15,000 votes cast for Donald Trump and myself. That's the kind of crossover support it's going to take to win. I've done it before, and I can do it again. Now let's talk about what's at stake. We have a governor who, if he's reelected, will be the longest serving governor in South Carolina history. Does anyone actually think he deserves that title? Let's take a look at his track record. He completely botched our response to COVID. He never took the virus seriously. And South Carolina became one of the hardest hit states in the entire country because of his failure to act. We were dead last in the country in vaccine distribution. And before that, he had no one in charge of our state health agency for almost an entire year during a pandemic. He signed the most restrictive abortion bill in the country, and then a judge overturned it 24 hours later. He signed a bill to allow the open carry of guns. He signed a bill to expand the death penalty to allow the electric chair and firing squads. He vetoed a bill to finally fix our roads. He's even opposed expanding health care to 200,000 working South Carolinians who need it. Look, the list goes on and on. It's a good thing the governor's not a coach in the SEC, because with a record like that, he'd been out of a job a long time ago. But in all seriousness, it's clear that the problems we face here in South Carolina aren't because of our people. They're because of our politicians. Our state is bursting with pride, potential, and unlimited possibilities. But our leaders in Columbia are holding us back. So after many months of thinking and praying about how I can best serve the state that I love, I am proud to stand before you today, a candidate for governor of South Carolina. Thanks to many of you, for the last 2 years, I've had the privilege of representing the Lowcountry in the United States Congress. I was proud to be ranked one of the most bipartisan and effective members of Congress. We led on issues like voting rights, gun reform, climate change, policing and criminal justice reform, and we protected our Constitution and the rule of law by holding Donald Trump accountable. We even had 2 of my bills get through a divided Congress and signed into law by a Republican president. It's not bad for a freshman lawmaker. And I'll take that work ethic right into the governor's mansion. Because you deserve a governor who will care more about the next generation than the next election. You deserve a governor who will be honest about the challenges that we face and have the backbone to actually address them. So let me give you some of that honesty here today. It's time to give our teachers a raise. They work so hard, they work nights and they work weekends, they coach, they drive buses, they tutor, they love and care for our kids. They work second and third jobs just to make ends meet. And then after all that, they still come out of pocket for school supplies. It's also time to make good on a promise that was made a long time ago, that in-state public college should be free for students who put in the work and maintain a B average or better. We need to invest properly in higher education for everyone, which includes fairly funding our state's only publicly funded HBCU. This state needs an education governor, and I'm going to be one. But my very first act as governor will be to expand Medicaid so 200,000 working people in South Carolina have health care. And it's time for South Carolina to be a leader in the fight to tackle climate change by investing in clean energy and the high-paying jobs that come along with it. And as I've proven time and time again, on my watch, there will be no offshore drilling off the coast of South Carolina. Not now, not ever. And let's think big on rebuilding our infrastructure. That means widening I-26 from North Charleston all the way to North Carolina. It means repairing the 745 structurally deficient bridges in our state. This is going to create jobs, help bring new businesses to our state, and save us time in traffic. We also have to get serious about tackling the corruption at the State House. We need to implement term limits on all legislators. We need to ban them from raising money during the legislative session so that they can focus more on doing their jobs than keeping their jobs. And finally, end gerrymandering once and for all. And as governor, I will put an immediate stop to the dangerous and un-American efforts to make it harder for people of color to cast their vote. Instead, South Carolina should lead on voting rights. We should have same-day voter registration, no more straight ticket voting, and early voting should be available to everyone. We're not going to purge voters from the rolls. Instead, we'll automatically register voters on their 18th birthday. And as governor, I'll lead the charge to end what's known as Confederate Memorial Day and replace it by making Election Day a state holiday in South Carolina. We also need to make sure that our state government is as diverse and inclusive as the people it represents. That means a more diverse judiciary and cabinet, and I am committed to having the most inclusive cabinet and staff of any governor in our state's history. We need to provide tax incentives and economic incentives, like the ones we offer foreign companies, to minority-owned businesses who want to grow right here in South Carolina. And it's time to pass common sense policing reform, like I fought for in Congress, so that black men and women can feel safe on the streets of their own community. Our state ranks second in the nation in the rate of marijuana arrest. Lives have been ruined over a few ounces of pot, and they've been disproportionately African American. A person of color in our state is nearly 4 times more likely to get arrested for marijuana possession than someone who's white. It's wrong. And when I'm governor, it's going to end. And that's just a fraction of the work ahead. But none of those things, not one of them, will happen if we don't win next November. That's why it's so important to nominate the candidate with the best shot at beating Henry McMaster. And I submit to you that I am that person. And to those who say a Democrat can't win in South Carolina, well, we've heard that before. We've made history before, and we're going to do it again. But I need you on this team. We are building a campaign unlike anything South Carolina has ever seen. And we're going to do things a little bit differently. This is going to be a campaign that y'all can be proud of. We're going to be honest, we're going to be blunt, and we're going to have some fun. Years ago, a friend of mine ran into Muhammad Ali on the streets, and he was so excited when he ran all the way across the street to meet him. He said, "Ali, you're the champ. You're the greatest. I've only ever seen you down once." And Ali turned to him and said, "No, you ain't ever seen me down. I was either up or I was getting up." My fellow South Carolinians, I know this past year has been hard, and I know these last few elections have been tough. But we are not down. We're just getting up. I'm Joe Cunningham, and I'm running to be your next governor. Join our team at joeforsouthcarolina.com. Thank you for what you do for our party and our country. I'm honored to be in the fight with you.